somehow, by some random misclick, my hello party people, and thank you very much to Andrew Corrigan and White Rattlesnake for being in chat already. Thank you for the follow, Andrew. My microphone issue came down to there's a slider to one side of the meter, and the slider was at the bottom, and I didn't recognize that as an issue initially because I've never fucked with it other than to tiny adjust otherwise. And I'm guessing in the rush to get everything set up, which I'm still not done, I somehow managed to completely hit the slider all the way to the bottom. Was that a single click, did that, I wonder? Was okay. I'm a fucking idiot. I'm looking at everything else besides the slider and just freaking out, like, why the fuck isn't my microphone working? Everything says it should be working. Why the fuck isn't... Why isn't that meter jumping at all when I speak? Fuck me! Joy. Okay, let me do a whole pile of random shit really quick. Well, not really random, just all the usual setup stuff that I normally would have done in the background. And, let's see... Okay, I'm going to have to respond to chat here just a second. Let me go back through everything. Andrew came in and said, oi, 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 why is Rumble not showing chats properly? Oh, see, now we have something in common. Andrew said, never mind, I figured it out. I tarted. I'm so lucky I'm cute. Late brown, bald and brown. I'm not brown. I'm beige-ish. Ginger even. Yeah, I did say I was very late. I was just getting my coffee because I do normally set a timer about 20 minutes before the show starts, so I have some time to get a coffee, have a last smoke if I need to have one, finish up whatever I'm doing. In this case, I was very much wrapped up in X. Yeah, the rape gang thing is... Oof, it's dark. And I will be talking about it today. A little bit. Actually, potentially tangentially. Let's see. Should have known you were a Newfoundlander based on your skull shape. Yes. We are a bullet-headed people. And I did say, I'll have you know, my fine Saxon genetics have drawn the eye of many a good-looking lass. Far too many not-so-good-looking gay men. The world's sexiest thumb would be a good band name, yes. You kind of look like my stepdad, to be honest, and ever since he and my mom split, he's been pulling way out of the league I thought he'd be in, so fair enough. You'd be surprised. Let's see. I made a rumble just to banter here. Awesome, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Work is slower than a crippled tortoise. Yeah, that does happen. Let's see. You are losing white guy points by the second. Listen, I'm just at the cusp of technologically crippled boomer and technologically kind of savvy Gen Xer, so I'm doing okay for a guy who's 50. Let's see. Yeah, I'll have you know, when I grew up, the first computer I ever saw had the monitor attached to it, and I don't mean like a laptop. And it only had one color, and they were all green. I kind of miss that color. Anyway, let me get my shit set up here. Okay, the Avast browser is working. Excellent. Okay, you guys may hear some noises as I bring up the segment openers. Base Japan. Good news. Oops.
Good news, everyone!
We actually do have some good news today, and some stuff to laugh at, so that's good. Let's see, we have 6 Emperor Mentalis, Base Japan. We need White History Month, and, oops. And comments section. Oops. I am a professional, really, I swear. Okay, that one is next to last. That one is last. That one will be next to last. That one comes first. There we go. Okay, Farnsworth, you stay over there. Now, one of the things I wanted to cover a bunch today is the, well, a little bit, and more for laughs than anything else, is the Makerfield election over in the UK, though it's going to be tangentially just for a gag, actually. So that goes to the lulls section. These all open. Where's open all? There it is. I need that open. And finally that. Okay, now I have a good couple of laughs from my Telegram archive as well. That one's not functioning properly. Okay, there it is. Okay, so we'll be starting with that one for laughing at morons. So where is that window open? Is that it? No, where did that window open? There it is. Because I'm an idiot and I closed my friggin' Rumble. Okay. Okay, that should have been there. Now we can move that down there. Need this. Okay, in reverse order, we open this one, then this one, then this one, this one, this one, and I believe that one I've probably already opened. Okay, so that can now close. That's that one. That's the clown show. Oh, I've got a fair bit in the clown show today that I didn't think I had. The lulls will come... Oops. There we go. That is good news. That'll go right where it is. Base Japan and Sic Semper Mentalis. Okay, we've got it. Mostly. Possibly. Okay, let's start where we usually start. With, thus always to dickheads. And I do apologize if you guys are hearing me scratch. It's because I recently discovered a lot of the skin issue I'm having, like the spots and the very itchy parts of my arms, and my legs are actually an absolute mess. Turns out I was using very bad soap. Yeah. So I've stopped doing that now, and hopefully in the next few days I'll stop itching. I have incredibly sensitive skin for someone who gives so little of a fuck. Speaking of people who apparently don't really give much of a fuck, let's talk about Donna Rachel and what she posted. So I did say, and this is one of my own posts that I'm referencing here. Make sure I haven't missed anything in chat. I have not. Make sure everything is running properly. Headset needs to be turned off. There we go. Okay. So the question I had to ask was, why the fuck would you post something like that? Do you just want to be hated? Now, this was before I was 100% convinced she was Jewish. This was before I was 100% convinced she was an idiot. She is. This was before I knew what her personal history was. She potentially deserves a little bit of a fairer hearing than this would seem to deserve. But we'll play this first so that you understand why so many people are pissed off at this chick.
The Rape Gang Inquiry report is out. I'm going to try not to laugh because it feels mean. I haven't read the whole thing. It's 219 pages. It's only just come out a couple of hours ago.
Okay, so I am going to give her a fair shot. She has posted a second video since she got a whack load of vitriol for this. Honestly, deserved. Her apology is not an apology, for one thing. I do believe it was the last thing. Oh, I did not. Okay. Someone did say that... there we go. There's the link for the second video. Okay, so we'll go through what's here. So, originally from Kentucky Girl, 250,000 girls were raped, and this hag is laughing about it. I will never understand women like this. You shouldn't try. Pompous and completely out of touch. I suggested maybe she was celebrating white suffering. Remember, July is White History Month. Speaking of pointing at the stuff going on below me, sorry, sometimes the Newfoundland accent can be a little difficult. Please consider supporting me through Ko-Fi. I'll do the whole e-begging thing later. A dude says the answer, surprisingly, is yes. Yes, Donna's performing magnificently according to metrics. Virality is off the charts. Our friends at Palantir have automated the process of collecting the names, emails, home addresses, and family members of those who object. After that, it's just a quick phone call to Starmer, and we'll win. Now, personally, I found this depiction of Jews as dogs extremely offensive, and I said as much. I said I find this depiction of Jews as dogs offensive. I love dogs. And I'm just going to leave that hanging. Donna says, I wasn't laughing at rape gang survivors. I founded an organization dedicated to supporting rape gang survivors. I was laughing at Charlie Downs, Harrison Pitt, and Alistair Harrison because they are contemptible people. I hold them in contempt for harming survivors. And my response to that was, really? Then why did she even post the first video? She doesn't understand what a second take is? She doesn't know how to edit? And not Mr. West handily pointed out that I should wait until I see her second video. I asked him if he could throw me a link, and I'd put the bitch on blast on my show, which is what I'm doing. And he was kind enough to provide a link to it. So we'll pause that. This is from Donna Rachel, the dissident counselor, I believe she calls herself. And, I mean, physiognomy tells. In any case, we'll listen to this here now. Oh, some chat. Rattlesnake is back, says howdy. Howdy. Thanks for coming back. So, let's listen to Donna's not apology video.
If you're going to attack somebody for not supporting survivors of grooming gangs, you might not want to pick somebody who literally founded an organization.
Immediately chooses to go on the attack. You posted an insanely insulting video that showed you laughing after referencing the Rape Gang Inquiry report. What the fuck is wrong with you? You say you have a group for grooming gang survivors. And that's your focus. If that's your focus, don't you think you should treat anyone who is attempting to help that cause with a bit more seriousness? Maybe do a second take. Maybe, edit your fucking videos? But no, you posted that. How did you not know how that was going to look? You can't tell me you didn't. This is clearly not your first time making videos like this. You're intentionally standing in front of something that blocks out the background, or is the actual background, which leaves it blank, so that the only thing to focus on is you. I don't even fucking do that. I have shit around me other people can look at because I know I'm not the best looking thing in the world. But for fuck's sake, if I fuck something up, especially if I'm making a video, like when I do stuff like this live, yeah, shit happens. Sometimes I get fucking late. Sometimes I forget that the microphone has a slider. But for fuck's sakes, when you're intentionally addressing the public on a serious topic, and you start out with hysterical giggles, and then when you're called on it and supposedly threatened over it, I don't think being threatened was right. Sorry. Sorry, hangnails are a hazard when you do woodworking, even as a hobby. Get off me. But you're doing something to address the public. You're not exactly particularly well dressed in this video. I mean, even as scuzzy as I look, at least I'm actually dressed. I'm not just... Anyway, the whole point I'm trying to get at is, you had to have known when you posted that. Either that, or you're naive enough to think either A, that no one will call you out on your bullshit, which, modern women, or you talk to the camera like you're talking to people who already know who you are and will understand your foibles. That's not the case. Yeah, I have a few regulars on this show, and I deeply appreciate them. And generally, yeah, I will banter back and forth with them because they've been here so long. But you're just talking to a blank fucking eye. There is no response coming back to you because you're not live, you're recorded. And you think going on the attack in your follow-up... Sorry, I'm not even going to... For that. It's a follow-up video, not an apology video. And you really ought to apologize.
Called The Survivors, which is dedicated to supporting survivors of grooming gangs.
Let me know if you guys can hear that okay. Okay, yeah, can I boost the video audio? I'm going to kick that up about 7 decibels. Let me know if that's too loud.
That is who I am.
Oh.
I founded it last year. We have 2 aims: support survivors of grooming gangs, investigate grooming gangs.
I was laughing at the people who want to stop the rape, yeah?
What happened and how to stop it.
Can you boost the video audio? Yeah, I did that.
This time last year I was invited onto Rupert Lowe's rape gang inquiry.
Now, listen to how she treats the rape gang inquiry. This is even funnier. Bear in mind, she is Jewish, and Rupert Lowe has openly stated he wants to end kosher slaughter in the UK. So she has a ethnic, possibly religious, possibly ethno-religious. She might be a secular Jew for all I know. But she has a potential pre-existing reason to grind an axe with Rupert.
Panel. I attended one meeting. It was shambolic. They did not know what the inquiry was for.
They didn't know what the inquiry was for.
Much of the meeting was actually taken up with discussing that. What are they going to do with it?
Do you not understand the circumstances that led to this inquiry? This isn't a government inquiry, sweetheart. This is Rupert Lowe privately funding an inquiry. Or having gotten it funded privately, potentially. So yeah, there's going to be a little bit of slapdashery involved. Calling it shambolic is a bit much, though.
They didn't know. There was no attention given to safeguarding. Myself and Sammy Woodhouse and Nat Enderby Shenston all were very vocal about the need for safeguarding in that.
I don't think she clearly explains safeguarding, which is another example of her thinking that she is talking to a familiar audience, or acting as if she's talking to a familiar audience. Safeguarding in this case is the idea that you should avoid, I believe, re-traumatizing someone. I'm actually going to step out of the video for just a second, because I did go to her page on this and ask... No, okay, it's on my account because she's got everyone else blocked. Let me just open that real quick. And should be fairly close to the top. Okay, let me just come back to the top, search my account for Grok. What the hell was that? Did somebody send me a Ko-Fi? Let me check. I'm supposed to get Ko-Fi notifications. Feed. Nope. Okay, anything there? Nope. Okay. Let's see. Actual changes. Come on. Okay, nope, 55 minutes ago. There we go. That would have been today. This is the one I'm looking for. So, this is my repost. This is me reposting her, but asking Grok, what is the organization she claims to have founded that she references in the video, and what is its mission statement? Now, what Grok gave me was that Donna Rachel Edmonds founded The Survivors, which is thesurvivors.org.uk, also called the National Archive for Survivors of Grooming Gangs / The Survivors Archive. The fact that it's got multiple names is a little questionable to me, but that may be just an issue of something else was already called something they were using, so they had to change it. It's a not-for-profit, community-led project supporting UK grooming gang survivors. It archives testimonies and evidence of institutional failures, runs the People's Inquiry for public documentation, and focuses on truth, care, integrity to promote accountability and healing. And I asked, what is their policy? Because it does come up on unverifiable/unverified claims. Do they publish them? The survivors record survivor testimonies with consent using trauma-informed protocols developed with former police officers and therapists. The same people from the same police forces that might have been actually involved in this shit, and therefore would have a reason to keep certain things quiet. These personal accounts are presented publicly with survivor input on editing and anonymity options. So they don't even present unedited testimonies, which really they should, as part of their archive and People's Inquiry. As oral histories, they include subjective recollections that are not independently verified. Why is that important? Because of what she says in her video. This one, yes.
Organization called The Survivors, which is dedicated to supporting survivors of grooming gangs. That is who I am. I founded it last year.
Now, I believe I was about here.
The inquiry has also harmed the survivors whose testimonies it has put into its report.
Okay, this is part of the import.
Ignored and not helped. Was traumatized by that experience. Before you can find the answer. They already had their answer and they worked backwards. There were no terms of reference. You cannot conduct an inquiry without those things because you need to have a question before you can find the answer.
Okay, hang on.
They already had their...
I think I was back about here.
All were very vocal about the need for safeguarding in that.
Yes. Okay, so she's talking about safeguarding. And I fucked up. Yeah, the idea with safeguarding is to make sure nobody gets re-traumatized. Not realizing that talking about your trauma is part of the healing process. You know, actually confronting it and holding other people to account. That is part of the healing process. Holding yourself to account if you're the one at fault is also part of it.
Meeting, we were dismissed by Alistair Harrison. There was no methodology. There were no terms of reference. You cannot conduct an inquiry without those things because you need to have a question before you can find the answer. They already had their answer and they worked backwards. It's not how you do an inquiry. Survivors were actively harmed by this inquiry in two ways.
Survivors were actively harmed by this inquiry, but of course not by hers, in two ways.
Firstly, directly. So there was one survivor who engaged with it who was traumatized by that experience. In fact, because she was silenced, she wasn't allowed to engage with it.
Okay, so either she testified or she was silenced. Which is it?
She attempted suicide. Another survivor...
Okay, hang on. Are you attempting to suggest that she attempted suicide because of her experience with Rupert's inquiry? Or she attempted suicide as a result of the things that had happened to her at the hands of these foreigners?
Who tried to give evidence was ignored and not helped.
Okay, so someone was ignored and not helped. Why? What was the stated reason they wouldn't have anything to do with this person? Was she maybe, or he maybe, unbelievable? Or potentially facing some other issue? Perhaps they showed up intoxicated? We don't know, and you aren't telling us.
He self-harmed to the point of hospitalization. A third was invited to give testimony before the panel and was then dropped at the very last minute. She believes because she's not white, she's...
Okay, so her opinion is that she was dropped at the last minute because she's not white, because she's mixed race.
Mixed race.
Yet, you don't present any opportunity for Lowe's report, or Lowe's inquiry, rather, you don't present any reason that they gave for refusing her. Interesting. Why are you being so obfuscatory?
She's now in crisis.
She's now in crisis. Okay. Now, your implication is therefore that that is the fault of the rape gang inquiry run by Rupert Lowe. When, in fact, she wouldn't be in crisis if it weren't for having been groomed and raped.
All of that was completely avoidable. So the inquiry has harmed survivors. The inquiry has also harmed the survivors.
This is the important point.
Whose testimonies it has put into its report. Because it has put those testimonies alongside claims that cannot be verified.
You use unverified claims because you're allowing subjective recollection. Pick one. You can't blame someone, you can't say someone else doing what you do is bad and not end up shining the light at yourself. You know that whole thing about when you point one finger, three more point back at you? Yeah. And I think about here was a telling thing. So we'll go to the 5-minute mark because I don't want to listen to all of this. This will take a second to catch up. Andrew, let me know what the video or the audio is like now. Okay, let me see if I can get this up to about the...
I haven't read the whole thing. It's 219 pages.
Up to the 5-minute mark? Ish, there we go.
What they were doing, who was an expert in the field, who was qualified. None of this is in any way controversial. If you're dealing with an extremely serious topic, which we absolutely are, you want the best people on the job. I was willing to go out and find those people for them.
Has it occurred to you, Darlin, that maybe the reason they didn't want you to help them pick who was going to be on the panel was because they wanted it to be impartial? And your group is clearly not impartial?
I was not saying that I myself would write the report. I think the fact that the mob...
Now she's gotten a lot louder all of a sudden, hasn't she?
...that has come for me is extremely anti-Semitic is very telling.
Why? Because you're Jewish? They're going to attack you based on your race because you identify yourself first and foremost on your profile as British Jew. If that's the thing you prioritize, why are you surprised your critics do? Now, that's not to say that I think it's right to criticize someone solely for being Jewish, but people are people.
Any of this topic has anything to do with me being Jewish. I just happen to be Jewish. I have had a slew of anti-Semitic abuse.
Okay, so if you just happen to be Jewish, why does the anti-Semitic abuse bother you? Ignore it and move on. Don't you have something kind of more important that you're trying to do, like help rape gang survivors? Why did you just spend 7 minutes defending yourself, attacking other people, and not once apologizing for your own actions? Yeah. Sorry, Donna. We're done with you. You are the mentalist in this case. Fucking dickhead. Oh, and that's actually it for 6 Emperor Mentalist today. Well, let's move on to Base Japan. Oh, now that's way too loud. Sorry about that, folks. I hope none of you were wearing earphones or headphones. Okay, we have one story for Base Japan today. It's culture war, of course. From Asian Don. Asian Don 4 on X. The mayor of Shimotsuma City in Ibaraki. Fucking Japanese names. One of these days I'll just slick handle these things. But yeah, Shimotsuma City in Ibaraki Prefecture. And I do tend to roll my R's whenever I speak any language other than English. Sometimes I do it when I speak English, too, though. That promised to crack down on... Sorry, let me start over. The mayor of the city in the prefecture that promised to crack down on illegal immigrants was found hanging near a river waterway and was confirmed dead at the scene. On the night before last, Mayor Toyoji Sudo, who's 67, was discovered hanging near a river waterway in Yachio Town, Ibaraki Prefecture, and his death was confirmed on the spot. Mayor Sudo had just won his first election in the mayoral race this past March. And from what I understand, he was... as it says here, he had promised to crack down on illegal immigrants. He was not just confirmed dead, he was ruled a suicide almost immediately, though no note and circumstances didn't quite corroborate it. Yeah. On the balance of circumstances, anyone claiming this to be a suicide is covering something up. I truly hope the police in your country are not as bent as the police in mine in the UK. Yeah. I don't know who Lieutenant Yokota is. A weeb. The theory now is that it was either the illegal immigrants or the pro-immigrant forces in Japan that killed him. This is where he was found hanging himself, and they said that this is suicide. No one hangs themselves at the Watergate like this. I see that he was killed and hanging here as an example to warn those who dare to resist the world order. Does this look like a suicide situation? So this is apparently how he was found. I mean, I don't know, and I won't hazard a full guess on it, but it's questionable. Anyway, let's talk to Dr. Farnsworth.
Good news, everyone!
And I do realize that is an extremely jarring piece of edited vocalization I have there. I do apologize, but we have some good news. The good news today is, from Antonio Tweets, he says, perfect, about time, this has no place in schools, as Alberta moves to ban pride flags from every school starting September 1st. And he asks, do you support this? Fuck yes, I do. There is no reason any school should be using a political banner that isn't national, provincial, or regional, or municipal on a school ground. There's no reason here in where I live, the local medical clinic, which is a federally funded, provincially administered facility, flies the Newfoundland flag, the Canada flag, and the Pride flag, all at equal heights. That's very bad flag etiquette for two reasons. One, you always fly the national flag roughly its own width higher than a subordinate jurisdiction, such as a province. Worse than that, the Pride flag, as it's a political statement, has no business on a provincial medical facility. Yeah. Finding Serenity says, no, we need more conversations surrounding Pride. Why would Alberta ban this? I guess Alberta is anti-Pride? Maybe, or maybe they're just anti-waving your dick in their face. Keep the gender religion out of schools, yep. Calvin Swine says he agrees. There is no such thing as a trans child. I 100% agree with that. What's 2 plus 2? Yeah, penis, vaginas, boobs, and stuff. Yeah. Oh, jeez, it's the revenge of Big Mike. It does appear that there's quite a lot of support for this move. What is this? New Islamic school in Edmonton gets $80 million expansion, and my grandkids are in a portable trailer sweating and freezing. Yep, but it keeps the racial and religious value division going. Yeah. Oh, there's a no. People need to learn to accept the existence of different sexualities and gender identities. Better to learn young so they don't grow up to be a homo/transphobe like yourself. Or, let's flip that, it's better to indoctrinate them to accept degeneracy while they're still too young to critically think about it. Yeah, moving on. Rapidly moving on. The last piece of good news today, at least in this section. It's really more of a, keep your head up, be encouraged sort of piece of news from Rasmus. Inverted morality works by normalizing the immoral and the insane until refusing it looks extreme. Once institutions treat men as women, children as sexual beings, and repeat criminals as victims deserving leniency, anyone still anchored to biological and social reality becomes the outlier. The truth is, you are not extreme. They are. And we'll just take a quick look at this image. He thinks black people can be racist. He thinks men don't get pregnant. He thinks illegals should be deported. He thinks a 6-year-old shouldn't be sexualized. He thinks violent criminals should be in jail. He thinks men shouldn't be in women's bathrooms. He believes in meritocracy. If that's you, congratulations, you're not the extremist. You're just a rarity, at least as far as they're concerned. Tom Sowell, people will forgive you for being wrong, but they will never forgive you for being right, especially if events prove you right while proving them wrong. Absolutely true. I mean, pictures, thousands of words. Yeah. Okay, next up, we're getting into the clown show. I mean, the comment section. Okay, before I start the comment section, I will do the e-begging. If you would like to support me, go over to my Ko-Fi and fling me a few bucks. If you do so on a monthly basis, I'll put your name in the ticker alongside Zenrab7 and Simon JJ. Unless you ask me not to, in which case you're in with that one guy who's in the Orangutan gang. Other than that, if you would like to support me without spending any money, you can like, share, comment, chat, follow, subscribe. Depending on platform, if you subscribe on Rumble, it does cost you money, same as a Rumble rant. Also, I get way less of the money you offer, you donate. If you do it through Ko-Fi, you can still send a message. In fact, I think the character count might be significantly better there. Excuse me. And, yeah, you'll still be able to send a message, and hopefully, though no one has done it during a show, I should be able to get a notification that I've gotten a Ko-Fi, and I can read it out right away. Otherwise, I will check every now and again, and, yeah, I need to remind myself to start doing that on a regular basis. Give me just a second to throw that Ko-Fi back up and check it. Let me see, I need notifications, nothing there. Move that all the way back down there. And bring this back up. Okay, so first up in the clown show today, we have from the Brit Lad, the British Patriot. Breaking: Bristol City Council has threatened local residents with eviction if they fly English flags while England are in the World Cup. I'll repeat that. Bristol City Council, Bristol, England City Council has threatened local English residents with eviction if they fly English flags while England are in the World Cup. They say that flying the flag can cause health and safety concerns. Yes, a sudden outbreak of stabbings might occur. Or, there's also the possibility of a rash of pride in homeland. Something white people aren't supposed to have, are we? And I pointed out that it seems to me like the Bristol City Council should be charged with treason as a whole. If raising your own country's flag is seen as an act of rebellion, then maybe your country is under foreign occupation. Hear, hear. Also, this flag makes me want to get one of the old Newfoundland colonial flags, because it was basically this flag with a crown. Yeah. Take your country back, restore Britain, make England English again. Free speech has not been banned in the UK, and we will arrest anyone who says it has. Yeah. Two-tier queer, the Lima Harmer Starmer. Yeah. Thanks again to Newsfist for that particular little expression. Okay. I am pleased terrorist got away with breaking a police officer's spine. Green Party councillor Sohail Asghar has been arrested on suspicion of modern slavery in Accrington. Yeah, V for Vendetta is a damn good movie. It's a halfway decent comic book, too. I prefer the movie. Yeah, we are the British Empire now, my love. Yeah. Yeah, there's the big one. What was the sacrifice for? Yeah, if the police are just tearing down the flags. Free the U Caliphate. Jesus Christ. And this is Dallas, yeah. Right? Dallas, Texas. Which has a significant Muslim population. It's whacked full of English flags. Crazy. Taken directly off the government website. Flags are a very British way of expressing joy and pride. They are emotive symbols which can boost local and national identities, strengthen community cohesion, and mark civic pride. The government wants to see more flags flown, particularly the Union flag, because that's the overarching governmental body, as opposed to the ethnic flag of the English, the Welsh, the Irish. Yeah. The flag of the United Kingdom is a symbol of national unity and pride. The government has recently issued guidance encouraging the flying of the Union flag on all UK government buildings throughout the year, alongside other national and local flags. We are keen for local authorities and other local organizations to follow suit. We have made it easier for the Union flag to be flown alongside other flags so organizations can highlight their local identities, as well as their national identities, and celebrate special days or events which champion civic pride. I think the English need to start having more ethnic pride, personally. You never go full retard, like Bristol City Council did. I have the best interests of Britain at heart. I don't think you have, mate. Yeah. When your government tries to punish you for flying the flag, yeah. Reconquista. I like how they used RIC, calling back to the RICU unit. If it causes health and safety issues to fly your own country's flag, you need to upgrade your police force. Yep. I like that. That's pretty neat. I'm going to guess this guy's supposed to be a lion cub? Maybe? Though he looks a bit more canine than feline. Anyway, moving on. Abolish the councils with torches and pitchforks. Well, it's not like you have guns to fight with. Not true, though. Grok, is this true? Really? Bristol City Council, green-led under Tony Dyer, has asked residents not to hang England flags on lampposts, railings, or street furniture during the World Cup. Reasons given: health and safety risks and compliance with the Highways Act. They say people are welcome to fly flags on their own private homes and property. The claim of a full ban on residents flying the flag, specifically because it's, quote, making migrants feel uncomfortable, overstates and misattributes the policy. Yeah. Bristol, with its fine racist history of being the most active slave port in England that sold innumerable Irish into slavery. Yeah. Wasn't there a statue they hauled down in Bristol as well? Edwin Cole something? Colchester? I can't remember now. In any case, moving on. Up next, we have... I think we're coming back to Canada for this one, but I'm not 100% sure. New! Yes, we are. Muslims in Canada now want McDonald's to serve only halal. I'm not even going to respond to that. That's just retarded. Let's see. From Millennial Woes, I believe. It's racial, says Millennial Woes. As Muslims, we will never beat the West in tech. Oh god, these people are so fucking stupid. As Muslims, we will never beat the West in tech. The gap is way too large. Instead, we should live here, be decent citizens, and have as many kids as possible. That way, we will one day naturally be the majority, and thus have all the tech. Can you imagine being this fucking retarded? Absolutely not trying to trigger anyone with this amazing logic. Homeboy, listen for the click. Yeah. And of course he's responded to with, absolutely, once we have the majority and we can marry their women and have kids and then push to Sharia, inshallah. We fully support this. Okay. I mean, I can just read my response. Imagine being so stupid as to believe you can eliminate the white people who created the tech and the tech will remain. If these people were capable of looking at Africa, especially the former Rhodesia, they might learn something. And there's a response. From Mandy. South Africa also joined the Golden Goose cargo cult. No golden eggs yet, but they'll keep donning the togas and just go through the motions. Harder. And I did point out, well, it's probably because of the evil whites have kept all the golden geese for themselves. Or they've been planting the eggs in the heads of bald men. I'm not sure. Yeah. If you don't know what that reference is, I don't know how many killings there have been now, but there have been several killings of bald men in Africa. Yes, men with hairlines like mine, because there's some belief somehow that we have gold in our heads. Then there's this. Yeah, Mark Carney touted his massive deals over in Europe. The $5 billion Mark Carney announced is entirely Canadian taxpayer money, not new incoming foreign investment. Of the 13 G7 announcements, 12 are merely non-binding memorandums of understanding, MOUs, and political frameworks that lock in no private global capital. You know, the whole Canada Strong Fund that he was talking about, that whole wealth fund that isn't actually going to provide Canadians with any money at all. Yeah, the single actual commercial deal is a $10 million contract for Marconi Technologies to supply radios to Poland, paid for by the Polish military. $10 million, which will immediately be pissed out the door straight into the Ukraine. Yeah, paid for by the Polish military. The remaining 12 deals are simply a rebranding of $5 billion in domestic tax-funded federal programs, specifically the Trade Diversification Corridor Fund and Strategic Response Fund. Meaning Canadian citizens are fully footing the bill for this state-backed infrastructure and tariff subsidy spending. Yeah. So I said, no concrete deals. Mark Carney, again, is the fakest thing about Canada since Dame Edna visited for Just for Laughs. Yeah. Then let's go back to the European Parliament, because amazingly enough, this is kind of good news. And we're going to let the commies cry a little bit, but just to have it said, I believe it's called the Return Directive. This is a blanket order in the European Parliament to have illegal migrants, especially, returned, sent back to where they came from, to whence they came. And I just want to watch the communists cry about it.
I believe not according to the dignity of this House, especially the chanting of racist charged slogans.
I have never felt as unsafe in this Parliament as after the voting about the return regulation.
I just want to point out that if you're a woman and you don't feel safe surrounded by fucking politicians, I encourage you to take a walk in the dark through, I don't know, any random high migrant area in your country.
I think this is a disgrace, and I think the European Parliament is better than that.
Mr. Schipper.
Maybe we
Same
can
for this gay
take
guy.
this
Mr. Schipper, this is not a point of order.
Again,
Again,
by the plenary reforms that were implemented.
Mr.
this week
Schipper,
and try
use a point of order
dignity.
to lecture your colleagues when you are not doing a point of order is not the best way to send a message.
Why didn't you just shut off his mic?
Thank you very much.
Ausländer raus. Sorry, what? Yeah, no, I'm very happy to see this going on. There must be an error. Yeah, she's never felt as unsafe. Yeah. Let's see. Do you think the victims here felt safe? Yeah, there's an awful lot of names here. Well, now, that's the whole point. Yep. Last four. This is the clown show. Oddly enough, a short clown show today. Yes. Because it's the ultimate clown in my country. Mark Carney, the Prime Minister. Small grocery stores don't have the same access to food terminals as big retailers, so they pay more, and so do you. Our new national food security strategy will break open the market by building new terminals for independent grocers, giving you more choice and lower prices. Are you sure about that? We'll just have a look here. City News, also known as, maple-flavored Pravda, because anything that's published in this country related to the mainstream is government-funded. Small grocers embrace Ottawa's national food security strategy. And I point out, imagine claiming you want to make it cheaper for people to buy food by using government money to build new terminals. How the hell did you manage to get a degree? And I'm going to assume their response here is, you think more competition will make prices go up? Harper let the big grocers consolidate. Carney wants to help independents. You think so? How is that going to... You're assuming there's going to be more competition in the market. There isn't, because the way grocery buying works is bulk. The higher number you buy, the less they cost you per unit. So a small grocery store only has so much space and so much money to spend. So you can put the new terminal there all you want. The grocer can't buy any more stuff. He might be able to buy a few less of one brand of toilet paper so that he can bring in a few more of a new brand of toilet paper. Sure. But that doesn't create competition. His prices, because he can't buy in bulk the way fucking Walmart can, his prices will not go down. So the competition is bullshit. It won't happen. All it's going to do is cost Canadians more to get, hopefully, the same service. Canada's big grocers have an oligopoly. I don't believe Grok actually said this, because I'm pretty sure Grok would use proper fucking grammar. Oligopoly. Jesus Christ. Speaking of bad grammar, let's talk about how July are White History Month. Starting with Gator Gum. Call me old-fashioned, but I preferred society when people weren't openly proud of their racism and bigotry. Hate is not a badge of honor. And I responded with, is it hate to want your people to do well? Is it hate to see your culture being erased and wish to stop it? French Billy says, is a little more direct than I. He says, shut the fuck up. You're proud of destroying our country and culture. Just out of curiosity, Gator Gum describes themselves as the Prime Minister in waiting. Who would want that fucking job? A private investigator, are you? Okay, if you say so. Let's see. Your survival skills are poor. Tell us more about those right-wing opinions, Gator. You seem to be the pot calling the kettle black. A bigot is a person who is utterly intolerant of any ideas, beliefs, or opinions that differ from their own. Yeah. Wow. Not me, you. That's a great argument. Call me old-fashioned, but I preferred society when people weren't so afraid of being called racist that they let generations of their daughters get raped by foreign invaders. Sacrificing your children is not a badge of honor. And the response is, you mean you can't be against rape and racism? You can't think both are wrong? No, see, the problem is that the word racism is now used as a means of obfuscating and preventing the discussion around the foreign rapes. We can't talk about brown people being rapey, because if we do that, we're racist. So we just won't talk about it, and we'll just pretend it's not happening. Yeah, there's a reason I agree with Calvin Robinson about fucking crusades. It's hard to keep being an atheist these days, I tell you. I mean, I can see the evil in the world. I certainly have to hope there's some good in it. From SOI Media, Judge Jonathan Greer believes the rights of a black pedophile are more important than the safety of British kids. Yeah, I couldn't believe this one. A judge granted a Jamaican pedophile the right to enter Britain, as barring him would breach his human rights. There is no human right that guarantees foreign criminals the ability to move into white homelands. Yeah. MJR says, what the fuck? What about the human rights of the women and children in the community? Those could be raped. That could be raped by such abusers. How dare they put a pedo's rights before the rights and safety of communities? The legal system is sick at this point. It is. Things seem so broken it's going to take more than a ballot box to fix. I still stand firmly in the camp of I really hope that doesn't become necessary. So his human rights to rape British females have been upheld by a British judge. Yes. The judge believes raping white British girls is a black man's right. Got it. Yep. Sir Tunnock, echoing Mr. Brown Alliance, goes, what? Yeah. Okay, let's laugh at some retards. And hopefully then we'll get out of here. Oh, something blooped at me again. What's blooping at me? Oh, that's Telegram. Never mind. Let me check my other things that I have here. That's for tomorrow. That's nothing, and that's nothing. Okay, closed some windows. Good. Let's see. If you guys are still in chat, let me know, because I'm starting to wonder if I'm no longer broadcasting. Yeah, okay, still there. Okay, so, from Carl Benjamin. Owen Jones met a patriot in Makerfield. Yeah, this is good, and yeah, I have to say I like this old woman.
Stores say that literally millions of people will leave the country. They'll be deported. Millions.
Well, good.
Stores say that literally millions of people will leave the country. They'll be deported. Millions.
Well, good.
Stores say that literally millions of people
I mean,
will
she's
leave the
not
country.
wrong. Is she?
They'll be deported.
Okay, and my system froze up a little bit. There it goes.
Millions.
Well, good.
Queen. Good. Yep. Restore Britain Airways. Yep. She's the pilot. Send them back to France. That's not fair. And stop sending their goats with them. It's not fair to the goats. Shiro. You can't just press the solve all your problems button. It will make people sad. Think of the korma, kebabs, and jollof rice. You wouldn't press the button and give all that up, would you? This woman. Just flailing on that button. Speaking of buttons, please do hit the like button. And consider hitting the share button. What the fuck is this one? Someone find her an educator. Okay, good luck with that. A few more million times and I reckon they'll get it. Like this joker. Are you sure that's the kind of country you want to live in? Yes. This isn't 2014 anymore, Owen. Remigration is inevitable. Yep. So I can leave my bike unlocked, the Apple Store won't need to attach cords to their display products, and a lost purse will be returned with all the money inside. Sign me up. Yeah. Owen, you wanker. Yeah. Owen Jones? Yeah, more like owned Jones. Let's see. Anything really good down here? Okay, no. Get ready for it to get weird. And I mean fucking weird. I spotted this, I watched about 3 seconds of it, and my only thinking was, this is going to be good. What do the bee stings help with? Asks Terrible. And I'm forced to ask the same question because, for the life of me, I don't know why anyone would ever do something like this. Is this just your way of confining them so you can get at the honeycomb, or? It's not confining them, those shorts are open at the bottom. If someone's actually filming this, what the fuck is going on here? Hey, just want some honeycombs. Yeah, brother, I don't think it's worth it. The drones are all women. Maybe it's an interspecies group sex thing. Bees be like, how big? He's hoping for some swelling. That may be it. They die after they sting, too. This is selfish and destructive to the colony. True. I don't know if anyone can top that one as a debut post. Is that their first post? No. Okay. Yeah, that'll be correct for way more than 4 hours. He's trying to cure prostate cancer. Can anyone really be that crazy? You have no idea how retarded people can be, Bomba Girl. He's been honeypotted. If your face gets big like this when stung, then guess what happens when you get stung down there? Your face still gets big because, well, it'll swell your neck shut. It's It's a fucking bee sting allergy, dickhead, not Viagra. Speaking of people who should know better and don't, let's check this one out. From Dr. Clown, PhD. Who's gonna tell her? Maya Johnson is extremely proud. She just got her IQ results back, and her IQ score is 83, which puts her in the 87th percentile. All the late nights reading and building different. Top 87% of the population. Stay mad. What does this mean? And they do provide a nice, comfortable explainer. Out of 1,000 people, approximately 875 would score higher than you. That math ain't mathin', Maya. So you keep on keeping on, sweetheart. Yeah. She wouldn't understand her odds at blackjack. This is true. Are you two friends? No. Yes. Free Palpatine? Good, Emily. Good! Yep. Disabled fatties for Free Palestine. Bro, what? Queers for Palestine. Yep. Chickens for KFC. Excuse me. That's brutal. Ouch. Excuse me. I had to ask Grok on this one, as I assumed it would be BS. But no, Grok says it's real. And the post has now been deleted. It always reminds me of this meme. What really haunts me is I'm really not smart enough for so many people to be that much stupider than I am. I absolutely fucking relate to that. Happy Pride Month from Palestine. Eesh. Let's see. That is not something someone with an IQ over 83 would ever publicly admit. That's borderline special needs and really sad. Yeah. When you see the flags in the bio, you already know it's over. This is what they mean by room temperature IQ. Well, 83 is an extremely comfortable room, but it's still room temperature. Yeah. It doesn't matter if you tell her she's below 90, she won't even be able to understand your explanation. Yep. The average Somalian IQ is 68. Oof. So, yeah, he's right. To be fair, that's genius level for the sand people. 50 to 70 is mild mental retardation. For the record, that number range used to go a lot higher. Don't go looking into why that changed. No wonder per capita seems like advanced quantum physics to these people. Yeah. Yeah. For her cohort, she's top-notch. Let her stay mad. There are moments when we can actually change someone's mind. But more often than not, there are just people you can't reach. Just let it be, yeah. Over in the UK again. Yeah, this one... I couldn't help but insult somebody over this one. So there was a Stop Islamophobia rally in the UK today, and the crowd is what you'd expect. And I'll pause here, bring it back. This might be quite loud, so I do apologize, but I'll give you the heads up ahead of time.
Racist gone? Off our streets! Whose streets? Our streets! Whose streets? Our streets! When migrants are under attack, what do we do? Stand up!
Does that person look familiar to you? And I did respond. Keir Starmer... Yeah, if Keir Starmer didn't like the Rent Boys so much, I'd question the possible paternity. Oh, that one can go as well. Okay. Liberals, if we could just jail Trump, get rid of MAGA in the Electoral College, stack the Supreme Court, ban voter ID, and censor free speech, we could save democracy. Yeah. Yeah, he looks familiar. Doesn't he, though? Father and son team up to battle the exact same thing. Any Islamic country would deal with people like this in ways they wouldn't even have a nightmare about. It's true. I can smell Pfizer and big government in this video. Women with crazy blue hair is the telltale sign of a crazy woke crowd. Yeah, that's literally a dude. Yeah. Well, he calls himself Cowboy Croissant, so what do you expect? Yeah, Islamophobia is a word created by fascists, used by cowards to manipulate morons. God, I miss Christopher Hitchens so much. Yeah. Yeah, this is the solution in the UK. The little girl says, save me from all these diversifieds. And the response from Keir Starmer is, no problem. No more social media for you. Yeah. Okay, so that's the last of the, topicals. Well, most of the last of the topical stuff. We're going to come to this now. Oops. Come here. And we'll talk about, briefly, we'll talk about the Makerfield election. Oh, what the hell just happened there? That's unfortunate. That's not what I wanted. Let me see if I can make that work. There we are. So the Makerfield by-election candidates' short manifestos. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up, even though I live in Newfoundland and Makerfield in the UK has nothing to do with me, is because there's some humor to be found in this, and with all the crap that's going on in the world today, we need that humor. So, people living in the Greater Manchester constituency of Makerfield will soon head to the polls to elect their new MP. The by-election was triggered by the previous MP standing down. Okay, so we'll look at the candidates in alphabetical order. We have Jake Austin for the Liberal Democrats. We have Count Binface for the Count Binface Party. We have Andy Burnham, Dan Clark, John Dyer, Ed Gemmell, Paul Gould, who looks disturbingly like a slightly frightened Pedro Pascal, Alan Howland Ladd Hope, the official Monster Raving Loony Party candidate, Robert Kenyon for Reform, Robert Pownell, an independent, and a fucking furry, Rebecca Shepherd for Restore, that's who I think you should vote for, Sarah Wakefield for the Green Party, don't vote Green, Peter Ward for the Rejoin the EU Party, Michael Winstanley for the Conservative Party, yeah. But, of course, the star of our show today is absolutely going to be Count Binface. Okay, well, it just wants to show me an ad. We're not going to do that. It's just their manifesto anyway, and what I want to talk about is actually this kind of stuff. There we go. I asked Brave to give me a short rundown of lists of historical gag candidates. Let me close that other window. So, the UK has a long tradition of novelty candidates, most notably the official Monster Raving Loony Party, founded in 82 by Screaming Lord Sutch, and currently led by Howland Ladd Alan Hope. Their policies have included a 99p coin, abolishing capital punishment as unfair to Londoners, because punishing the capital. Other famous UK candidates include Lord Buckethead, an intergalactic space pirate with a bucket on his head, who first stood in 87 and went viral in 2017. Count Binface, who won 24,260 votes in the 2024 London mayoral election. And Hangus the Monkey, who became the first and only directly elected mayor of Hartlepool in 2002. Other countries also feature gag candidates, often used to protest the electoral system or spoil ballots. In some places, spoiling your ballot intentionally is possibly criminal. So, yeah, it's nice to have these options. In Sweden, the Donald Duck Party allows voters to forfeit their vote by writing in the character. In the U.S., Gracie Allen's Surprise Party ran a successful roadshow campaign in 1940, while Colbert announced plans to run to mock campaign finance rules. I don't believe he did. Historically, these candidates serve as a form of protest or entertainment rather than a serious bid for power. Yes. So, of course, I followed that up with another search. Bring that up. There we go. Where I asked, give me links to as many of these and follow-up links as appropriate. Actually, that's not precisely what I asked, but this will work. Oh, no, it won't. Okay, we'll skip that one then. Unfortunately, I accidentally grabbed the wrong link. So, that is what it is. I'm not, We owe you an explanation. No, fuck off. Don't skip this 1 minute read. It's Thursday and you only had a small chance of seeing our message. This year, Wiki has seen fewer visitors and fewer new supporters. Good. I'll be quite happy if you people fucking fold. Let's full screen this so I can get rid of that. There we go. Fuck off. Okay. And back we go. So, the list of novelty human election candidates. From Wikipedia, is, this is a dynamic list and may never be able to satisfy particular standards for completeness. You can help by editing the page to add missing items with references to reliable sources. Not that worried about doing that. So, first off, of course, we have Vermin Supreme, one of the best known contemporary novelty candidates in the United States. We'll have a look at, let's see, who we have. Captain Beanie is a British eccentric and charity fundraiser in Sandfields, Port Talbot, South Wales. He's been a candidate in local and general elections throughout Wales. In 2000, he formed the New Millennium Bean Party, of which he was the sole member. He contested Aberfan again in the 2010 election, receiving 558 votes, placing 7th out of 8 candidates. He beat the UKIP candidate. In the 2015 general election, support for Beanie more than doubled to 1,137 votes. He stood as an independent, placing 6th out of 9, beating out the Greens, I'm not sure what Tusk is, and the Socialist Labour Party. What's Tusk? Trade Unionist and Social... So they had, well, technically three communist parties. So all the commies lost to the gag character. Beautiful. In the 2024 general election, Beanie stood as an independent in the newly created constituency of Aberfan Maestic. And I probably butchered the shit out of that. I don't speak Welsh, and I don't have any real facility with Welsh names. I'm lucky I can pronounce Plaid Cymru. I had to be careful not to call it Plaid Cymraeg. Gaining 618 votes, coming 7th out of 8 candidates, beating out Rhiannon Morrissey of the Heritage Party. What's the Heritage Party? Socially conservative political party in the UK, founded in October 2020 when then London Assembly member David Curtin left the UKIP to form the party. Okay. Okay, so the main article is Count Binface. Count Binface is a satirical novelty candidate created by the British comedian Jonathan David Harvey in 2018. Stood as a candidate for Uxbridge and South Ruislip in the 19 UK election against then Prime Minister Boris Johnson, and again at 2023 when the by-election that followed Boris's resignation. He also stood in the London mayoral elections in 21 and 24. In the 24 general election, he stood against Prime Minister Rishi Sunak in his Richmond and Northallerton constituency. Originally standing as an independent, since 2023 his affiliation has been given as Count Binface Party on ballot papers. Lord Buckethead. We'll look at the ones who actually have images. So here we have Howland Lod Hope. This is, he's the current leader of the official Monster Raving Loony Party. On the death of the party's founder, Screaming Lord Such in 1999, Hope and his pet cat, Catmando, maybe Catmando or Catmandu, I don't know for sure, were jointly elected as leaders of the party. Since June 2002, Hope has been the party's sole leader following Catmando's death in a road accident. Oh, that's a shame. Here we see an image of Screaming Lord Such. Good man. He was a musician, apparently, as well. Let's see. Hope was the first ever official Monster Raving Loony Party, I just want to say the whole thing, candidate to be elected. Yeah, he was actually elected. He was elected unopposed to a seat on Ashburton Town Council in Devon in 1987. Subsequently became the mayor of Ashburton in 1998. Hope is the only official Monster Raving Loony Party candidate to have been elected to public office, although an ex-member, Stuart Hughes, won a seat on East Devon District Council for the Raving Loony Green Giant Party in 1991. That's Stuart Hughes. Lord Toby Jug. Lord Toby Jug was a British politician. We're looking for ones that are was current. Terry Marsh is an English former professional boxer. Changed his name by deed poll to None of the Above X. And stood in the 2010-2015 general elections independently in protest, there being no option to vote for none of the above. In other UK elections, Marsh has symbolically voted for none of the above by leaving the polling station carrying his uncast ballot paper. In 2009, he set up a new political party, NOTA, which stands for none of the above. Yeah. Mad Captain Tom. There's Screaming Lord Such. In the U.S., Victor Aloysius Myers was an American politician and jazz band leader. He served for 20 years as the 11th Lieutenant Governor of Washington. Was the first Democratic Lieutenant Governor of Washington. Okay, so he was just considered a joke candidate. Okay. We'll move on to the next thing. And this will be the last thing having to do with electoral candidates. I just thought this was a fun thing to get into, so... anything on the Ko-Fi? Checking? No. Okay. From Stack Exchange, politics.stackexchange.com, if I recall correctly. Yep. Do any other countries, necessary cookies only, thanks. Do any other countries aside from the UK have a tradition of joke candidates? In the UK, for example, there are candidates such as Lord Buckethead, Count Binface, Mr. Fishfinger, who I've never heard of, who apparently represents the Fishfinger Party, and perhaps most well known, the official Monster Raving Loony Party. These candidates generally attract several hundred votes in the constituencies they stand in, often as a way of spoiling one's ballot without actually doing so. Does this tradition occur to such a scale in any other countries? There's some listings here. Yeah, we have the Rhino Party. Yeah. Two more comments. Are you counting the current official Monster Raving Loony candidate in Uxbridge, or is that the fourth? In Germany, there is Die Partei, using the 6 letters to spell out Party for Labor, Rule of Law, Animal Welfare, Promotion of Elites, and Grassroots Movements in German. They were founded by the staff of the monthly satirical magazine Titanic. They have gained some minor election success, including being elected as MEPs. There also was/is the APPD, whose platform was to garner enough votes to get public funding and to use that money to buy beer for their supporters. In Hungary, they have the Two-Tailed Dog Party. I'm not fluent enough in Hungarian to catch all of the word plays they're using, but my wife consistently finds their campaign ads and messages hilarious. Sweatshirt they released last year was All I Want for Christmas is a New Prime Minister. Banksy reference... Canada has the Rhino Party, which has been an official federal party in various forms since 1963. It's currently defunct, unfortunately. At least I believe it is. People in the U.S. will typically answer this question with, we have two, the Republicans and the Democrats. Yeah, though Americans tend to have a view that most elections are really all about choosing lesser of two evils. The U.S. will typically find this in the form of fictional characters, television comedians. As for joke parties, the two-party system doesn't lend itself. Yeah, this fellow went on for a while. Let's move on. Okay, in Australia, I suppose that I would have to answer no. You have to pay a deposit to be a candidate, and if you finish last in the voting count, then you do not receive your deposit back. I suppose that this is to discourage frivolous joke candidates. We have had some, though, in every joke sense. My favorite was the comedian Ostentatious. Please don't be a tranny. Okay. Who stood for the Australian Sex Party. Yeah, probably a drag queen. In Sweden, we have Kalla Anka Partiet, which translates to the Donald Duck Party. We talked about those briefly. Brazil does very many, and occasionally one of them wins big by attracting the protest vote en masse. This article is from a humor site, crack.com, but draws from real facts and informs the situation competently. Okay. We'll just read this excerpt here. In 2012 in Brazil, there were 5 people named Batman. I'm moving to Brazil so I can vote for Batman. Fuck. Who else? Right? Along with 16 Barack Obamas and a pair of James Bonds. The crowded ballot also includes Lady Gaga, Jimmy Carter, John Kennedy, Osama bin Laden, I assume, the Zigzag Clown, a guy named Elvis Didn't Die, someone called Kung Fu Fatty, and Geraldo Wolverine. Oh, gods, I love it. Okay, let's grab some real fun stuff to laugh at now. This silly bint we'll start with. Cancel. So, a restaurant has given chicken to a vegan influencer. And this situation gets funnier the longer it goes.
I'm a vegan and you've given me chicken.
You ordered a chicken salad.
Yeah, but I'm a vegan.
You didn't say that to us before you ordered. It's quite important.
But you should have known, because I'm an influencer and this isn't it.
She's an influencer doing an influencer collab with this restaurant. She didn't tell the frontline staff that she was vegan, and she quite literally went and ordered chicken salad.
An influencer collab. I'm actually creating content for your business, so I would have assumed that you would have known.
With the greatest respect, you should assume that we know.
How have they not heard of her?
You ordered a chicken salad.
I know.
If you didn't want a chicken salad, you could have just ordered a salad.
Yes, but I like the Caesar sauce.
Then a salad with Caesar sauce, no chicken.
But you shouldn't have given me the chicken in the first.
Too stupid to order a Caesar salad instead of the chicken Caesar salad. Yeah. And I guarantee you this cunt has way more views than I do. It's fucking disgusting. And their vote counts just as much, too. Yeah. Okay. Moving on. From Dex Erto. This is actually from Sunflower Society, blah, blah, friggin' blah, blah. Let me just open that image. No, I can't. Okay. 6 ice cream companies in Japan were raided by authorities over allegations of forming a, quote, ice cream cartel. I meant to put this in the Base Japan segment. The investigation comes after years of rising dessert prices across the country. Yeah. Japan doesn't fuck around, man. Okay, let's, I believe this is Joe Kennedy we'll finish with. And I think this is probably my favorite politician currently. Now, I'll point out some of this is AI, but not all of it.
There are only 2 things I have to do in this world. Be cool and die. Look, you just gotta try harder not to suck. God created the world, but everything else is made in China. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. He's nervous as a pregnant nun. I don't know why we have to give money to countries that hate us. They should be able to hate us for free.
I absolutely do love Joe Kennedy. I think that's his name. I can never remember for sure. In any case, folks, that's going to be it for the recorded segment today, so I'll go back through and say thank you again to everybody in chat, which is comprised of, I believe, only Andrew Corrigan and White Rattlesnake. Thank you both very much for being here. If you would like to support me in what I do, you can head over to the Ko-Fi and drop me a few bucks. If you do that on a monthly basis, well, yeah, you know, I don't need to do the whole entire e-begging shill every time, do I? Well, I will anyway. If you throw me money on a regular basis, monthly, I'll put your name in the ticker down below, and I will, you know, alongside... Oh, hang on, I'm in the wrong spot on my chat. It's throwing me off. I'll put your name in the chat in the ticker alongside Zenrab7 and Simon JJ. If you would rather I didn't post a name for you, and there is one who does, I'll put you in the Orangutan Gang category. If you would like to support me without spending any money, you can like, share, chat, comment, follow, subscribe, depending on platform. If you subscribe on Rumble, it costs you. You can't follow on YouTube, because that's where the subscribe button is. That doesn't cost you anything. And I'll say again, you can send rants. You can absolutely subscribe on Rumble. It's your money to do with as you please. However, if you want to support me, as opposed to the platform, Rumble takes a massive cut, sometimes as much as 50%. Which is crazy. That's a great way to absolutely cripple your small content creators, which might be the point. And I mean, I support Rumble. I really want Rumble to succeed as a competitor to YouTube, because while the platform needs work, YouTube was not YouTube when it started. It did not start out perfect. So, in any case, let's see. Other than that, please do remember that the hashtag July is White History Month is meant to be used to highlight our history and heritage, the good things that white people have done, and to bring awareness to issues that negatively affect us as a people. It is my firm belief that white folk need to come together as a singular bloc for political and social self-defense. Other than that, I am going to go and take a short break. I will come back and play give or take an hour of Skyrim, and I'll hang out with chat during that. But other than that, I hope you're doing well. I hope you continue to do well. And as always, rise and rise again until lambs become lions. Bye-bye.